The upscale steakhouse gleamed with the quiet confidence of old money. Soft jazz trickled from the speakers, waiters in crisp white shirts moved like choreography, and the chandeliers above cast golden light on polished mahogany tables. It was the kind of place where patrons ordered $100 steaks without glancing at the price. At the corner table, a woman in a navy business suit sat with her hair neatly pinned back, her expression unreadable as she flipped through the leather-bound menu. She looked every bit the successful corporate client, a confident posture, silk blouse, Cartier watch, but nobody at the restaurant knew the truth. Tonight, she wasn't just a wealthy customer. She was Emily Warren, CEO of Warren Enterprises, a billion-dollar food distribution company, and she was undercover. The entire premise had been her idea. For months, she'd heard complaints trickle in about poor service, unfair working conditions, and a lack of accountability in the company's restaurant supply chain. Her board brushed them aside as isolated incidents. They'd sigh, but Emily couldn't shake the suspicion that the rot was deeper. So she created a plan. She'd pose as a regular diner, visit establishments her company supplied, and see firsthand how her employees, partners, and managers really behaved. No entourage, no fancy introductions, just her, blending in, watching. Tonight was supposed to be a simple test. She would order the steak, the one supplied by her company's beef division, and quietly observe. Would it be tender and fresh, or did the restaurant cut corners? Would the staff treat her well, or dismiss her as unimportant? She hadn't expected the night to become something much more. "Have you decided, miss?" the waiter asked politely. "Yes," Emily replied, her voice calm. "I'll have the ribeye, medium rare." The waiter smiled and scribbled it down. "Excellent choice." Emily returned the menu, her eyes scanning the restaurant once again. Everything looked polished. Yet she noticed the small details others might miss: a busboy rushing nervously, a bartender whose smile looked rehearsed, a manager who seemed more interested in his phone than the guests. She made mental notes. Then she noticed him, the janitor. He moved quietly along the edges of the restaurant, broom in hand, a faded uniform slightly too big for his wiry frame. He was older, maybe in his late 50s. With tired eyes and rough hands that spoke of decades of hard work. Unlike the waiters and bartenders, he didn't try to charm the customers. He simply worked, sweeping crumbs, wiping a spill near the entrance, his shoulders hunched as if trying to make himself invisible. Yet, for some reason, Emily's gaze lingered on him. There was something in his movements, not laziness, not carelessness, but an odd heaviness. As though the broom wasn't the only weight he carried. Her steak arrived, sizzling and fragrant, and she cut into it with quiet anticipation. One bite told her everything: overcooked, tough, disappointing. Her jaw tightened. If this was the quality being passed on to customers, her company had bigger problems than she thought. She discreetly jotted a note in her leather-bound planner. But before she could continue, something unexpected happened. As she placed her fork down, a folded napkin appeared on the edge of her table. She hadn't seen who placed it there. She looked up quickly, just in time to see the janitor moving away, head down, pretending to busy himself with sweeping near another table. Emily blinked. A napkin? Curiosity tugged at her. She unfolded it under the table, shielding it from view. The handwriting was shaky but deliberate. "Don't eat the steak, please. It's not safe." Her breath caught. She read the words again, her pulse quickening. Not safe. What did that mean? Contaminated, mishandled, or something worse? Emily glanced around the room, but nobody seemed to notice her. The diners were chatting, laughing, sipping wine. The waiters carried plates with rehearsed smiles. The manager was still glued to his phone. Only the janitor was watching her, not directly, but with careful, flickering glances, as though checking to see if she read the note. Emily set her fork down, her appetite gone. Her instincts screamed at her. Something was wrong here. And if the janitor knew, why hadn't he told anyone else? Why her? She slipped out of her chair and approached the restroom, note clutched in her palm. A moment later, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned and there he was, the janitor. "I shouldn't have done that," he whispered quickly, his voice low and urgent. "But you needed to know." Emily's eyes narrowed. "What's going on?" He glanced around nervously, then leaned closer. "The meter they've been serving expired shipments. Weeks old. They just a broken bar, cut off the bad parts, season it heavy, and hope no one notices. Customers get sick, but the manager covers it up. They don't care." Her stomach dropped. Expired meat covered up? If true, this wasn't just negligence, it was dangerous. "Why are you telling me this?" she asked. The janitor swallowed hard. "Because he broken bar my grandson ate here last month. He got so sick we thought we'd lose him. And the manager, he didn't care. Said it wasn't their fault. Said people get food poisoning all the time." His voice cracked. "I can't let it keep happening." Emily's heart clenched. She studied his face, he aligned, weary, but honest. This wasn't a man looking for attention. This was someone desperate to do the right thing, even at risk to himself. "Why not report it?" she pressed. "I tried," he whispered bitterly. Health inspector came. Manager slipped him an envelope. Nothing changed. "And me?" He gave a humorless laugh. "I'm just the janitor." Nobody listens to the janitor. Emily felt a chill. She thought of the board of directors, of managers who cut corners, of profits prioritized over people. She had gone undercover to look for surface flaws, but this was deeper, rotten. And this man, the janitor, had risked everything by slipping her that note. She took a breath, steadying herself. "What's your name?" "Marcus," he replied softly. Emily nodded. "Marcus, a broken bar, I believe you." For the first time, his tired eyes flickered with surprise. She couldn't reveal who she was and not yet. But something inside her shifted. This wasn't just about testing a stake anymore. This was about justice, about accountability, about humanity. And she knew one thing for certain: Marcus wasn't invisible anymore.